Hello, everyone. This is Deku coming with you. Come on, let's get real. When scientists and all these great thinkers out there, if they don't ask the right questions, they'll never come up with the right answer. I've been watching video lately about the study of the brain, and the thing is, they just do the higher cortexes, and I mean all of them, just there. But that's stored memory, and that's process, cognitive understanding. But that's not where it starts. That's only where it ends. It's like I want to see the front of the train, but I'm going to tell you how the front works by looking at the back end of it. If I never look at the front end, I can never tell you how it works. I can only tell you about the back end. And that's not where you start. You start at the beginning. Now, there's been people that's been slicing the brain here and there, different places, and dissecting it and able to go in and do all this miraculous thing with the brain. But they're doing it with the stored memories. You have to start at the beginning, people. You cannot start at the end, middle of the brain up there and know how it's working. You have to start at the first part of it. And the first part of the brain is the synapses that run from the base of the skull all the way down the back. Yes, I'm talking about the spinal cord. But the spinal cord was the very first thing that there was. There was no stored memories. There was no other functions. It all started with that. When you take a jellyfish of any kind and you look at it, you have to go to the core of the jellyfish to find the nerve endings to understand how they work. Well, you got to do that with every living biological creature there is. You got to start at the beginning. You go from the spinal cord all the way up into the brain stem. And in the brain stem is the first part that's telling us what we need. But what did that nerve ending actually do for us? Well, that nerve ending that you see let us know about danger around us, how to adapt and overcome certain situations. That's where it begins. And if you think that we're past that, we're not. Even with all the other evolutions throughout the world of biological species, and I'm talking about all of them, from plants to fish to all type of animals, dogs, cats, birds, it all starts with that nerve. This is where they get their first sensory perception input about what's dangerous and what's not. Do you think a squirrel sitting up in a tree, flickering his tail back and forth? It's not moving, it's not balancing, it's flickering its tail. Do you think that's just a nervous tick? No, that squirrel is reading all the surrounding electrical fields there is around it. It's sensing the good, the bad, and it's processing it to what it should do. You ever watch how the hair stands up on your arm when certain things are happening and you say, "Ooh, I got goosebumps," and the hair stand up? Why? You think it's just peculiarness or something strange, whatever you want to call it, people. But that is the first census that you had that told you what was happening around you. Good, bad, yeah, even in the bad, the goosebumps will come up. And if you take your arm and slowly go across there, you can take and you can make every one of those little hairs on your arm just stand right up. It's the same thing. Like when you're tickling somebody and you take and tickle them, after a while it begins to hurt. But that first bit of tickling is your senses coming alive that's been with you before you had a brain stem, before you had a midbrain, before you had the higher cortexes of your brain. That was there to begin with. So why are you looking at the last part of it? The next part of all the train, you got the engines there. From the engine, you go into what is storing the energy and letting you know what it is. And that's the brain of the train. The brain that functions, that tells what to store up there, what not to store, what to be dangerous, what's not to. That squirrel flickering his tail up there is learning this. That bird up in the air learns to read the current of the air, turning its tail one way or another. Its wings spread out, hovering. It's feeling it. It's seeing it. It's understanding. And it's coming not from its brain, but from the very nerve endings of every feather on it. I tell you what, go to your dog or your cat and barely touch them someplace or another that they're not aware of. You're going to touch them and watch what happens. Look at the reaction. Why did they react? You don't think those hair that's on the dog and cat's back are not sensitive and cannot feel? These nerve endings that you have, they are the first of us. Now, this ain't taken out of the idea of a God, because we don't know what God did to create it. If it was evolution that brought us up, or if it was God that kind of pushed it all up, we don't know that, nor can we speculate. But what we can do is take a look at all the things that was there to begin with. People, you just don't know what you're dealing with when you study the brain. Now, one brain, people took and just sliced and diced all up and they think they got it figured out. And that's Einstein's brain. Oh, it's bigger here, bigger there. Maybe that's the reason why he was so smart and everything. No, Einstein was smart and a genius because he figured all this stuff out to begin with. When he had that little compass in his hand and he asked the question, and this is the question, not where it's going to point, because that's the last thing. Not that it's rocking back and forth or whatever. Why is it doing this? What's moving it? It's he saw in his mind. He saw there. Lots of times staring out at the window and stuff, he was using his brain in a concept of connecting to all the energy field there is around you. All the things that are there, he's feeling it, he's bringing it in, he's absorbing it. You know, they say that a person that's swimming in the ocean for a long time and they're starting to get tired and they finally go into land. And the first thing they feel is not just the sun on them, but the wind and the sand that's blowing in the air. They feel all that other little stuff. Why do they feel that? Why is their brains not using this there? It is their nerve ending that's doing it. I saw a guy one time. He's working in the field, and he's getting sweaty. It's hot, summer day, and he's working in the field, and he's going out there, and he's taking wet in his head, putting the water all over his head and stuff. That's not the way you cool down. That's the way an elephant might cool down, but that's not the way we are. We've got radiators here that's naturally cooling. You don't go in, throw water on your face, it's cool you down real fast, but then you're going to heat right back up. Heat travel up your body and out your head. So you cool that off, it's just going to mean more heat can come up. And you're still going to get hot. I told him, go out there, besides doing that, put the water on your legs, put the water on your arms, and let them dry naturally. That is better air conditioner for you than anything else. Why do you think people in Egypt and in different places throughout Africa wear all those cloths and everything? That's because their body can sweat. But you watch your arms, loose clothing around it. The wind gets up there, makes them cooler. There's things, people, about the brain that nobody knows because they're looking at the wrong place. You need to start at the beginning. Sure, that guy took Einstein's brain and he thought he was doing right by dissecting it and sending it out. But what he did was contaminate it. Somebody 2, 3, 50, 60 years later, looking at it, they're looking at a contaminated slide. No matter what you may think, no matter how sterile, it is still contaminated because that might not have been the way you need to slice it. Do you need to cut it at an angle, cut it straight down, cut it with a grain, and go across the grain? How should you cut it? You cut a tree down and you cut off to where you got an inch there, and you look at the center, and you pretty much can tell the age of the tree. But that is not the growth of the tree. The growth of the tree starts with the roots. Go into the roots, dig them up, dissect the roots, because the trees that come up afterwards did not start until that root. You start at the beginning, you never start at the end. Sure, you can graft other things. You can graft certain trees together and they'll grow and produce pretty good fruit or vegetable. After all, that's how they come up with corn. Took two different type of grasses, put them together. One was maize, another one was something else, and they come up with corn that we use now for harvest. But that is not how corn started. Corn started as something else. Oats, I like to eat oats because it has not been altered. I like to eat rye. It has not been altered. I like to eat wild rice. It has not been altered. These are natural things. But the growth of these things did not just start with the rice, it started with the roots. And people don't understand. You have to ask the right questions to get the right answer. You can't ask the question about what's at the end. You need to ask what's in the beginning. Come on, people, let's get real. This ain't the way it's supposed to be. You know it. I know it. And the whole world knows it. But why does all these bright scientists and everything know it? Let's take a look back. They're trying to answer questions from certain type of math. Maybe you need to go back to the beginning and find out why 1 and 1 never comes up to 2. It's stated. Y'all have a good day.